Okay, hello. Welcome back to our grade 9 maths lesson. I am Mrs. Rea, your grade 9 maths teacher. In our last lesson, we looked at scientific notation. In today's lesson, we are going to look at directed numbers. Okay, directed numbers. Now, what are directed numbers? Okay, directed numbers are numbers that have size or magnitude and direction. Now, I can illustrate that using a horizontal number line. Okay, so we start from 0. To the right of 0 are all the positive numbers. To the left of 0 are all the negative numbers. Now, this number line is indicated by zeros because the numbers go to infinity. They continue on and on to the right and also to the left. Okay, let's look at all the positive numbers. Positive numbers, we don't have to write them with a positive sign. We can just write them as they are. Okay, and on the left, we have the negative numbers. The negative numbers must always be written with a negative sign in front of them. Okay. -5, -6. Now, let's look at how to combine these directed numbers using the operations addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. We start with addition. I have +2 plus +4. Now, how do I add +2 plus +4 on a number line? Now, on a number line, you can see that we have positive and negative numbers. When you are adding a positive number, you always move to the right. So we start from +2 and we move 4 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your answer is +6. Okay? Now, if I am to add directed numbers with different signs, let's say I have -1 plus -2. Now, I am adding a negative number, so I am going to move to the left. So I start from -1 and I move 2 places to the left. 1, 2. Okay. Stop at -3, so my answer is -3. Now, let's see what happens when I add directed numbers with different signs. For this one, we have added directed numbers with the same signs. And you can see that you just put the sign of the 2 and you add. For negative numbers, you put the negative sign and you add the numbers to get the answer. Okay, so we have +6 for example 1, -3 for example 2. Now, let's go to example 3. Now, I have +4 and I add -7. Let's see what the answer is going to be. Okay. +4 is here. I'm adding a negative number, so I am going to move to the left. Since I'm adding -7, I will move 7 places to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, this time I stop at -3 because it's +4 plus -7. It's already indicated there, so I just write the number down. So the answer is -3. Now, from this you can see a pattern. If I add a directed number with two different signs, the sign will always be the sign of the larger number. And the magnitude, the size, will always be the difference of the two. So 7 minus 4 is 3, but since 7, which is larger than 4, is a negative number, my answer will be -3. Okay. Now, let's look at one more example. This time I have -2 minus -4. For this one, we cannot explain this using a number line, so we just have to stick to the rule. When we are subtracting directed numbers, we add its opposite. So this will be equal to -2. This will change to plus. Okay. Plus -4 will change to +4. Now, we have -2 plus +4. We can use this on a number line. I am at -2 and I'm adding to the right because I'm adding a positive number. So I move 4 places to the right from -2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I stop at +2, so my answer is equal to +2. Okay. This is on addition and subtraction of directed numbers. Okay, now let's go to multiplication and division of directed numbers. With multiplication and division of directed numbers, we are not going to use the number line. We will strictly follow the rules. Whether you like it or not, we just have to accept what the rule tells us to do. So, when we multiply directed numbers, when we are multiplying directed numbers with the same signs, the answer is always positive. Example, if I have +4 times +5, my answer will be +20. Now, if I am multiplying a directed number with negative signs, the answer will always be positive. Let's say -6 times -4. My answer will be +24. That is according to the rules on multiplying directed numbers. The same rule also applies for dividing directed numbers. I have just forgotten one more thing. When we multiply directed numbers with different signs, the answer is always negative. If I have -6 times +4, my answer will always be -24. That is according to the rule. We cannot show this on the number line. So we just have to accept what the rule says. Now, let's go to division of directed numbers. The same rule that we have applied for multiplication of directed numbers also applies to division of directed numbers. When we are dividing directed numbers with the same sign, the answer is always positive. Let's say +20 divided by +4. My answer will be +5. Okay. Next, -24 divided by -6. My answer will be +4. Now, if I am dividing directed numbers with different signs, the answer will always be negative. -30 divided by +5, my answer will be -6. For multiplication and division, the only thing that we have to remember is our timetable. Okay? Our timetable, and we remember the rules. When to put a negative sign and when to put a positive sign. Positive times positive, positive. Negative times negative, positive. Positive times negative, negative. So the same applies for division. Positive divided by positive, the answer is positive. Negative divided by negative, the answer is negative. And negative divided by positive, the answer is negative. That brings us to the end of multiplication and division. And now we are going to look at a practical example on directed numbers. Okay, let's see. Now, I have a bird that is flying at 300 meters above a fish which is 150 below the sea level. So, I'll put the vertical number line here. Oops, my line doesn't look straight. And I have the sea level here. The sea level now acts as my reference point, or we call it the zero level. Now, above the sea level are the positive values in meters, and below the sea level are the negative values in meters. Let's say I have a fish that is swimming in the sea at a distance of 150 meters below sea level. So that's 150 meters below sea level. And I have a bird that is flying at 300 meters above the fish. I have a bird flying at 300 meters above the fish. Now, I want to find out what the height of the bird above sea level. So, what I am going to do, I have negative 150 plus 300. Okay. We have seen in our addition of directed numbers with different signs that when we add directed numbers with different signs, put down the sign of the larger number together with their difference. So in this case, 300 meters is positive, so my answer will be positive. Since 150, which is a negative number, is a smaller number or is less than 300 meters. So my answer will be positive, and it will be 300 minus 150, and that gives me a height of 150 meters. 300 minus 150 is 150, but since it is positive, I just write it as 150 meters because when we are writing positive numbers, we don't normally write them with a positive sign. Only negative numbers are always written with a negative sign. Now, that brings us to the end of our lesson on directed numbers. So, in our next lesson, we are going to look at indices. So, that will be our next topic, which we will start on. Thank you.